Hello and welcome to Sport 360 Sport on Trust TV. I am Emmanuel Fashimi. It's a good week, the beginning of the week, and it was a good one despite the 1-0 defeat in the hands of the La Rojas, that is the women's team of the Spanish team. The Super Falcons actually gave a very good account of themselves, going down 1-0 at the dying moment of that game. It was a painful defeat, but there are signs that, yes, this team will come good. We just need to be patient with them. We just need to at least let the team gel together, let the team, let that chemistry. They actually did well. They played very well, though the goal didn't come from an open play. It was a set piece, and that kind of goal can actually beat any goalkeeper anywhere in the world. So good one to Chiamaka Nadozie, putting up a fine performance. Every player on the pitch yesterday evening, right there in Nantes, actually did well. They gave their 100% on the pitch of play, but the result just didn't go our way. The result didn't really go our way. What we wanted all 3 points at stake, but at the end of the day, it was the Spanish women's team that took all 3 points at the expense of Super Falcons of Nigeria. Good one. We'll be looking at that game and other story on the show because it is the Paris 2024 Olympic Games, and on Friday, hostilities. Officially, the games officially started on Friday with that beautiful opening ceremony at the River Seine River in Paris, France, where it was a boat parade for all of the contingents that is representing their various countries. So good one. Officially, the game started on Friday, like I said, but before then, we have the men's football and the women's football event alongside rugby heralding starting the Paris Olympic Games 2024. All right, let's begin from this story. As from now, this game will be coming up. That the Tigers of Nigeria will be playing their counterpart in Group B opener. That is the women's basketball. Yesterday it was the men's basketball, and we saw what the USA, United States of America, did against the Serbians. But today, as we speak, the Tigers of Nigeria ready for Australia in Group B opener. We have the Tigers of Nigeria going up against the Australian in their first game in Group B, where you have Canada and co. France, the host country, is also in that group. All right, I have Abba Michael joining me on the show, 360 Sports. Abba Michael, welcome to 360 Sports on Trust TV.
Yeah, good morning, Fash.
Okay. For the Tigers, we'll go to the Super Falcons, but let's begin with the first story. Tigers of Nigeria up against their Australian counterparts in their Group B opener, their first game at the Paris 2024 Olympic Games. That's the women's basketball.
Yes, I mean, Coach Reni Wakama has done a great job. They should take a cue from South Sudan. The way they handled the United States team, showing that basketball also resides in Africa. And that's exactly what I want the Tigers to do, to show the Australians that they're not the only powerhouse, that basketball has evolved. And right now, Africans also have a stay. They are also a mainstay in that event. And so the Australians looking down on the Tigers will be doing that at their own peril. I believe our team is very organized. Perhaps they may possess a size advantage against our girls, but I still believe that good game strategy, proper planning, utilization of the zone defense, and the man on man, I think that will be able to go a long way in making it a stiff competition. Let's not write off the Tigers because of what we're seeing happening to the Super Falcons. I want to believe that the ladies will be ready to give it a go. This is the match of your life. This is the Olympics. So I don't expect them to renege. I expect them to come firing on all cylinders, ensure that they create shots for all the best shooters on the team so that we can have high efficiency shooting. And at the end of the day, we may just have a chance, to upset the Australians.
Okay, a chance to offset the Australians. Talking about the Tigers, we saw them in their warm-up games. Though I don't want to judge them with that, but they actually did well in those warm-up games against Serbia, against Germany, and also they played against Japan before landing in Paris for the game proper. Against the Australians also, who are also a good side when it comes to basketball. How can Rena Wakama and the girls go all out to actually get the maximum result? That game is big for this morning.
Yes, I mean, it all boils down to watching tapes. I want to believe that they must have introspected and internalized the strategies, watch their videos, watch their games, know the strengths, and find a way to bring up matchups. Basketball is about matchups. Do our girls match up to them man on man? Are they be able to neutralize them? How good is our defense? Specifically, once you are able to get stops in basketball, that is the secret of winning. During the friendlies, they were able to utilize that to an extent, but this is the Olympics. You cannot renege, but you should have. It's just that sometimes you may be in foul trouble when you utilize so much of that playing a good defense. So, but I want to urge the girls to keep remain with that strategy, because somehow in the friendlies, no team embarrassed them during the friendlies. So I want to believe that the Olympics, the bigger stage, if they can replicate what they even did in the friendlies. Basketball is about efficiency. They may just have a chance as long as they shoot better, but they need to create space, have players who can create space, and then use the pick and roll, use the screen for our good shooters to ensure that they bury shot after shot, just like the way Kevin Durant did for the United States of America against Serbia yesterday.
Yes, against Serbia yesterday, Kevin Durant was fantastic from all the three-pointers. He was out of this world in that game against the Serbia. Nikola Jokic had no answer to what the United States actually brought yesterday. But we're talking about the Tigers of Nigeria. That game is built for this morning, and expecting that they start their Group B opener. We have other countries there: Canada, France, the host country. And, you know, playing against the host country is going to be a tough one for the Nigerian ladies.
Yes, definitely, it's going to be a tough one. But I love the way a certain Novak Djokovic plays when he's facing a home crowd. I love the way he faces them. Steve, when you are facing a home crowd, it is your duty to shut their mouths. I mean, they will be roaring against you, but when you have what we call a Mamba mentality, a killer mentality, a killer instinct, it's your duty to ensure that that crowd gets silence. I think that should be their number one goal. How do we silence this crowd to be as if it's a burial ground? I think that's the kind of approach they should go with. By the time they nail point after point, I tell you what, that crowd will go silence. You would think it's a 1 minute silence.
Okay, you will think it's a 1 minute silence for the D Tigers of Nigeria. Like I said, that game is built for this morning, and we will be seeing these Tigers playing their first game at the Paris 2024 Olympic Games against the Australians. We wish them well, we wish them luck as they start their own competition. That's in the women's basketball. Still talking about the Paris Olympic Games, let's move over to this story where Nigeria has started also. They've started action. Super Falcons was the first team to start action for Nigeria, and we have table tennis and the rest. We will get to that. But this time around, let's go straight to boxing, where it's not a good one for us. Also in boxing, we lost out in the 92 kg men's category, where Olaiton Lalore was knocked out by that is Kazakhstan or Ralbe Aibek. With a 5-0 whip winning point in that particular fight between Orabel and Olaiton Lalore. And we just had two boxers that went to the Paris Olympic game, and now one is out already from the competition, and the other person, Ogunshemilore, has been is under scrutiny right now as we speak because of she failed a doping test. But for Lalore, he was knocked out. The firepower of the Kazakh was too much for Olaiton in that bout.
Yes, I mean, it feels so sad. I quickly remember, I think, is it a Rio Olympics or London Olympics? So we had a setting in Ajagba. When it comes to amateur boxing, it's a different ball game. Uh, when you rewind back in the 70s, you will remember there was a certain Theophile who never went into pro boxing, but he dominated the Montreal Olympics in 72. And then, of course, in 76, the Munich Olympics in 72, and of course, the Moscow Olympics in 1980. Amateur boxing is completely different from pro boxing. What happened is that we need our athletes to understudy some of these boxing powerhouse, talking about Kazakhstan, talking about Azerbaijan, talking about Cuba. When you talk about boxing, these are the places where you get the best of training, the best of the best of coaches. I think we shouldn't limit ourselves to just having a Nigerian coach. When you're preparing for the Olympics, look for a coach that resides in any of these three countries I just mentioned. We will have a better performance. Our local coaches, when it comes to the Olympics, they may not be able to give us that best strategy or tactics that we require. And so I want to urge the Boxing Federation going forward, when it comes to the Olympics, I mean, apart from the local coach, we should have a foreign coach. Perhaps they do. I don't really have I'm not privy to that information, but I think that will really help because these are the nations that produce winners, gold medals every now and then. And mind you, even the defending champion was also knocked out in that same 92 kg, a certain De La Cruz.
Yes, Stade de la Cruz was also knocked out in that category. Still talking about boxing for Lighton, where the games is over for him as he was knocked out by a fighter with the Kazakh Oral Bey, who was better than him. But the news coming in from Team Nigerian's camp is Ogunshemilore, the only female boxer that we went with, is under scrutiny as we speak. She has failed a dope test, and what it means is that when the boxing event in Paris is over for Team Nigeria.
Yes, I mean, this is a sad news. It's rather unfortunate. Athletes have been warned. WADA has warned. I mean, for many years now, we saw a scapegoat in Ben Johnson at the Seoul Olympics in 1988. Sometimes in 2006, we also saw Justin Gatlin got scapegoat. And then even in, I think, the London Olympics, we heard certain Russians were banned for years. But these athletes will never learn. They keep making the same mistake. It's a recurring decimal. The pressure to perform is so high that these athletes get to take all these drugs. But one thing the crowd need to understand is that when athletes take these drugs, sometimes it's not because they want to perform. The drugs are not really performance enhancing drugs for the Olympics, but it's to enable them withstand a high level of training. Some of these training routines are very difficult, especially when it comes to boxing. To be honest with you, there's a lot of steroid use. But when the games come calling, when it's Olympics proper, you avoid them by all means because at that time you don't need the steroids anymore. It can put you in trouble. I think the coach did not probably guide her in the usage, and that's why the thing was still detected in her blood.
Okay, it was still detected in her blood. Let's pray. Let's just hope that, well, when the whole findings is eventually out, maybe we might see Ogunshemilore being freed because of though, let's see what happens. She was beat to also fight her own fight today as we speak this afternoon, 2:30 p.m. Nigerian time precisely. But I don't think that fight will be happening until she has been found not guilty of using a banned substance. But at the end of the day, it's a sad one that Olalore Lighton is out, and now Ogunshemilore, which would have been at least keeping our hopes on, is already under proper investigation and scrutiny. Still talking about the Paris Olympic Games, let's go straight to the Super Falcons in Nantes. Yesterday, putting up a spirited display, but at the end of the day, at the 85th minute of that game, the Super Falcons' hearts were broken with that beautiful lob from Putellas, a superb goal against the Super Falcons of Nigeria. They actually kept, they were disciplined all through that game until that set piece from that free kick. Michael, the Super Falcons have played 2 games, considered 2 goals, but they did well in both games.
Yes, I mean, even right from the friendlies, they've been doing very well. Putellas, again, I mean, when you're a great player, we expect magic from a great player. Yes, our players have really performed exceedingly well. I think in the first game, Oshuala was benched, and then I think, came up and started in the second game to justify our starting berth. We saw her getting subbed, I think, in the 73rd minute or so. But we saw her creating chances after chances. I think Ajibade wasn't able to bury some of the chances created. One thing about football is no matter how good your team is, as long as you don't take advantage of the chances, whenever your opponents take just one single advantage, you are gone and you are finished. And I think the mistakes, the profligacy in front of goal has been haunting us since the World Cup, and it may just be the reason why we may face an early exit. I just hope in the last game they may be able to get some huge respite. But right now, I don't know. Nigerians' hopes are really hanging on the balance. I pray that we'll be able to spring up some surprises. When we have big players, we expect magical things from those big players. I mean, that is why we have Azizat Oshuala there. We expect a moment of magic even when the rest of the team are not living up to expectation. We expect that you spring surprises. There was a goal she was supposed to score. She decided to opt for the second best option of passing. I don't know why you will be opting for passing. I mean, we saw Osimhen also delivering some passes when he was supposed to be scoring during the AFCON, and that proved costly. And I think that's the situation of the Super Falcons right now. They need to set up. We need to have a top man. I mean, Oshualat, you creating chances, also take to the goal, face the goalpost. Sometimes we will not crucify you when you miss, but just ensure that you are lethal, show aggression. And I think that was just the little missing piece. But then the team looked very offensive. It's just, let me just say, football gods were not on our side during the end of that game, and our substitution also affected the team.
Okay, talking about the substitution, Ihezuo coming in for Asisat Oshuala. What do you really make of that substitution, or do you prefer the coach would have still allowed Asisat Oshuala to play up to maybe 88 minutes or at the 89th minute of that game?
Yes, that's what I expected from the coach. I mean, you saw Victor Osimhen, even when they were taking him out of AFCON to bring in a certain Paul Onuachu, they waited until the dying embers. I mean, when you have a superstar, sometimes their best performance comes in the dying minutes. Look at Cristiano Ronaldo. If you look at the number of goals he scored after 90 minutes, you'll be amazed. He scored more goals after 90 minutes than some superstars. Yes, that's how good he is. So sometimes
Okay, sometimes these players just you just need to still leave them on the pitch. That is what Michael is actually saying, because they
he may not click during the regulation time, but during injury time, and that will start coming. So I really don't know that the lifetime African ball of the year. She has earned it.
As we speak, for the Super Falcons of Nigeria. Well, there's still hope. All hope is not lost, because we still have one more game to play at the Paris Olympic Games. Now, let's quickly look at Chiamaka Nnadozie. In the first, for the two games, she has been our best player on the pitch. Okay, all right, Michael will join us back. For Chiamaka Nnadozie, like I said, for the two games so far, she has been our best player. Look at the saves yesterday, the game against Brazil, pulling up wonderful saves. Fantastic goalkeeper. Just that lob yesterday caught her unawares, and there was nothing she could do about it. And that is what it is for the Super Falcons of Nigeria. They lost 1-0 to the ladies from Spain. Let's see how it goes in our last group game against the Japanese ladies, and that is where the Super Falcons are setting their focus on now. They need to get all win, the maximum win. 3 points at stake. They need all 3 points, and then with quite a number of goals, score 3 goals, 4 goals without conceding any against Japan, and definitely they might just have their one. They might just have themselves playing in the round of 16. All right, Michael, we're still talking about the Super Falcons. Well, somehow the permutation is we can still qualify in our last game if we beat Japan. Okay, please, your audio, we can't hear you. We can hear you. Please work on your audio so that we can hear you from your end. Let's go straight to the NFF, where the Super Falcons can still do it in their last game. Super Falcons can beat Japan in their last game. That is coming in from the NFF president, Alhaji Ibrahim Musa Gusso, encouraging the guests that yes, they can beat the Japanese lady, who also yesterday, they lost their first game, but against Brazil, they won that game 2-1 against the Brazilian ladies, throwing the group open for the three teams to qualify: Brazil, Nigeria, and Japan. Okay, Michael, for the NFF president, Ibrahim Musa Gusso, he says that the Super Falcons can beat Japan in their last group game.
Yes, definitely they can beat Japan, but let's not forget that I think Japan are not having a bad run either. I think them too, they are doing very well in the Olympics. But I want to believe that we possess what we call
players. They are not home breed. We just have two home-based players in that team, but every one of them plays their trading abroad, and they were born the likes of Michelle Alozie, United States of America, Ifeoma Onumonu, also from the US. That is where she grew all her life. She stayed there, so most of them might not really understand what an Akpu is, but ever since they switch allegiance to Nigeria, I believe most of them has also been eating these puddings and enjoying these delicacies. But like Michael mentioned, that's on the flip side, the physical presence of the Super Falcons, I think they should use that advantage against the Japanese ladies, because the Japanese ladies, if you look at it, they are fast on the ball. But if the Super Falcons can go physical, use their physicality, their strength, and their height advantage, they can get something out of that game. And I believe that is what the NFF president is actually looking at by his saying that the Super Falcons can beat these girls, the Japanese ladies, come Wednesday. That's our last group game, and we'll be having ourselves playing in the quarterfinals of the game. It's a 12-team tournament. We have Group A, B, and C, and for the Super Falcons of Nigeria, also it's on two sides: beat the Japanese ladies and qualify, or probably the Super Falcons might still just find their way into the quarterfinals from the back door. They just need a decent result against the Japanese ladies, and if there is anything to go by, the Canadian winner, the Canadian national team, that's the team from Canada, they might be thrown out of the Olympics. And if they are thrown out from the investigation that is going on, because they use a drone to monitor the New Zealand ladies team, and that is against FIFA ethics, it's against the rule. And for that, Priestman, the coach of the team, has been suspended. And if that investigation actually, if he go against them, we might just see the Canadian women losing the Olympic gold medal they won the last time out in Tokyo, and also they will lost out from the Paris 2024 Olympic Games, and that is going to be a very big advantage for Super Falcons to just steal their position and qualify for the quarterfinals. So maybe it's a blessing in disguise that this is actually going on. But against the Japanese ladies, the Super Falcons of Nigeria actually need an outright win, get the 3 points, just get the 3 points, score goals, don't concede any, and then wait for what will happen next. And probably they might just join Spain and the other team from our group, and others, United States of America, who have 6 points already, and qualify for the quarterfinals of the Paris Olympic Games. It was a painful defeat against the Spanish women, even against the Canarias, that is the Brazilian women's team, 1-0 against the Super Falcons of Nigeria, which they actually played well. Well, let's see what happened again. yesterday. The full result of games, the Super Falcons, you already know, lost 1-0 to Spain. And we have other team, the likes of New Zealand, they also lost their game to Colombia in that order. And then Germany also losing their game to USA. All right, in Group A, we see New Zealand, like I said, lost to Colombia 2-0. And then France, the host team, lost to Canada 2-1. But that result might just not count at the end of the day when the investigation is actually completed against the Canadian national women team for them using drone to monitor New Zealand training before their game. And then in Group B, sad one. I think Africa has a lot to learn. You don't throw away that kind of opportunity. Zambian ladies, they were leading that game at some point 5-2 against the Australian, but in a split of seconds that game was turned around and the Australian had to come back and score 4 goals, and then that was how they were able to beat the Zambian ladies 6-5 in the 11-goal thriller. But one player created history, becoming the first woman player, becoming the first player in the history of Olympics to score hat-trick back-to-back. In 3 Olympic Games, having 9 goals, scoring 3 hat-tricks in those games. That is Barbara Bandra of Zambia, the Cooper Queens of Zambia, getting a hat-trick in that game. But at the end of the day, they threw away their chances, and it was 6-5 against them. But for the United States against Germany, the United States of America, when it comes to women's football, take nothing away from them. They are the powerhouse when it comes to women's football. 4-1 thrashing, they beat the European powerhouse Germany to lead that group. They are on 6 points as we speak in that group. And then in Group C, where we have our own Super Falcons of Nigeria, they lost 1-0 to Spain, and Brazil also leading that, going ahead in that game. And eventually, at the dying moment of the game, 2-1 against them, throwing the group open. Michael, for the Zambian ladies, a moment of I don't know the adjective to qualify that. After going ahead 5-2, they were leading in that game. Within some seconds, that game was turned around. At the end of the day, 6-5 against them.
Yes, I mean, this is the biggest capitulation I've seen in almost 35 years. I mean, how can you be leading 5-2 and then suddenly you lose concentration? This is, let me just say, unheard of. I mean, 4 goals is too much. To surmount, or 3 goals rather. And then here they are losing concentration. I mean, this is so bad. Sometimes I was wondering what was going on in the coach's mind. He probably didn't psych these ladies enough. But sometimes football is full of miracles. Football is full of wonders. Perhaps we have just seen the 8th wonder of the world, or should I say the 9th wonder. That is football for you. But the Zambians need to go and do a lot of introspection. Go and think again. Look at their lives. What went wrong? They need to consult the gods of football. What offense have we committed? Why were we neglected so much when we were ahead? I mean, there's so many questions. I pray that the Zambian fans don't attack them when they come back because of this mistake. In short, but our hearts goes to Zambia right now because they are not in the very right senses. They are looking very depressed and demoralized for this type of resounding defeat coming from behind. But we just pray that they'll be able to recompose themselves and perhaps rewrite their history. But kudos to Barbara, I mean, for back-to-back hat tricks. I mean, that should be their consolation.
Yes, that should be their consolation. Kudos to her for doing that back-to-back hat-trick for Barbara Branda, setting that record, Olympic history record when it comes to the women's football. All right, let's look at the medals table quickly. China was the first country to win a medal at the Paris 2024 Olympic Games, but as we speak, they are no longer at the top of the medals table. If we have that table, okay, we'll have it right away. Japan is not at the top of the table. We have Japan with 4 4 gold medals, 2 silver, 1 bronze, 7 in total. We have Australia, who are second with 4 gold, 2 silver, 0 bronze, 6 in total. United States of America, you know, when these countries start wrecking in medals, then nothing will stop them. United States of America is on the third with 3 gold medals, 6 silver, 2 bronze, 8 in total. We have South Korea fifth, 3 gold medals, 2 silver, 1 bronze medal, 6 in total. China, who was the first country alongside Great Britain to win the first medal in the Paris Olympic Games for 2024, they are now 6th. 3 gold medals in their books, in their record now. 1 silver, 2 bronze, 6 in total. Italy is 7th with 1 gold, 2 silver, 3 bronze. Kazakhstan with 1 gold, 0 silver, 2 bronze, to make it 3 in total. Belgium is 9th with 1 gold, 0 bronze, 0 silver, 1 bronze. We have Germany with 1 gold, in total 1. Let's go to the flip side of the table quickly and see. Hong Kong is 10th with 1 gold. We have Uzbekistan on the 10th, the same number of medal with Hong Kong with 1 gold medal. We have Great Britain with just 2 silver and 2 bronze. We have Brazil with 1 silver, 2 bronze. Canada have 1 silver, 1 bronze. Fiji, we have that number 16 with 1 silver, in total 1. Kosovo is on the 16th position with 1 silver. We have Mongolia, the same, Fiji, Kosovo, Mongolia, and Poland, Tunisia with 1 silver apiece right there. Then we have Sweden with 2 bronze medals. We have Egypt with 1 bronze, Spain 1 bronze, Hungary 1 bronze, India 1 bronze, Moldova 1 bronze, Mexico 1 bronze, South Africa already having 1 bronze, and we'll see our darling team Nigeria on the 23rd position with 0 medal. Michael, I know we have now actually gotten into our full strides. I believe when the athletics comes calling a few days away from now, we should be expecting medals and probably other sports for the D Tigress. Let's hope as we speak if they're going to start on a good note. Okay, for Team Nigeria, well, we are expecting medals to come in. D Tigress will be playing their game this morning, and then we'll have other competition coming up. Athletics, that is our area of strength where we are really putting our hope on to see that, yes, these games for the Paris 2024 Olympic Games, our strength is in athletics. The likes of Toby Amuson, S.A. Brumer, Michael, we have Ezekiel Nathaniel, we have Akintola, we have a whole lot of them who were Chioma, we have Chukwe Bukanekuchi in shot put, Deshina in high jump. When all of this, when the track and field event starts, then we'll be seeing Team Nigeria, where we're expecting a lot of medals for the D Tigress, Super Falcons, and then table tennis team. All of them have crashed out of the competition from the singles event. The likes of Edem Ofyong, Arna Kadri, Lajide, all of them crashing out in their first game at the Paris Olympic Games. And then we saw the boxer Olalo Ray being beaten by the Kazakh to knock him out of the competition. And Ogushimilore, the only hope in boxing, is under investigation for a banned substance. But we know that before the game goes halfway, Team Nigeria definitely will record at least 2 gold medals, 3, 4, 5 gold medals. Who says we cannot end the competition with 5 gold medals? All right, let's just quickly look at some highlights of match day 1 in the women's football. Okay, we will be bringing that. Of course, you will be bringing some of the highlights of those games in subsequent edition. All right, moving ahead, let's leave the Olympics and go straight to Kaduna. In the course of the weekend, it's what's not a good news also for us. Super Sand Eagles coming back home to play the second leg of the Beach AFCON 2024 qualifiers. At the end of the day, it was 6-5 against this team. Both teams ending on 10 goals apiece, but the Mauritania edged out the Super Sand Eagles on away goal road. The Super Sand Eagles crashed out on away goal road after the game ended 6-5 at the Murtala Mohammed Square in Kaduna. That is where the game was played, and the news coming in from that section is that the referee begged to that the Mozambican referee actually didn't do the Super Sun Eagles good in that game, awarding a penalty. If you saw that clip, we will be bringing that clip in our subsequent edition for you to see that clip, because it was really a painful defeat at the end of the day. After this team, 5 years out of competition, they were able, they came back and they went straight to Mauritania. They got the win in the first leg, 5-4 it ended. And at home here in Kaduna, it was 6-5 against the Super Sun Eagles, and they are out because of away goal rule. Mauritania scoring more goals away than the Super Sun Eagles. They scored 6, we scored 5 in Mauritania. They came here to Nigeria, they scored 6. And that is why we are seeing, that is why Mauritania have qualified to join the already qualified teams for the AFCON, Beach AFCON 2024. The competition will be going down in Egypt. The likes of Egypt, Angola, and Co., they've already qualified. They've made it through to the competition. All right, Michael, we're talking about the Super Sun Eagles. 6-5 against them in Kaduna. Courtesy of away goal rule, Mauritania are through to the Beach AFCON 2024.
I mean, never in my life have I seen a situation where a referee will favor Nigeria. Nigeria is just like Arsenal. Referees always are turned against us. I don't know, perhaps we have offended the gods of football in a way, because this is becoming unbecoming. I'm sure you understand what I'm talking about.
Yes,
I mean, how can we be hosting and then the referee will come and do this and go scot free? Just the way we allow our politicians to deal with us and go scot free, never looking at Kenya and learning from them. I think that's the experience we're having. I mean, these referees need to be warned. You don't come here and mess our team up. Perhaps they've been sorted out behind closed doors, and then you come here and then you begin to misconduct the officiating. I think we need to really investigate that referee. That penalty, to me, was uncalled for. I mean, it's really sad. Even though we know the Super Sun Eagles have been rusty, they've not been on for some time, but coming with the bang, getting an away win, and then coming back just to consolidate, and then the referee starts turning against us. I mean, it's completely unfair. Let's not just conclude yet. That referee needs to be investigated so we know how to put a conclusion or an exclamation mark on this matter. But right now, the Super Saiyan Eagles should just take heart. We Nigerians will take heart. But this is not fair. Going forward, any referee handling our situation must be forewarned, because we will definitely pursue this against all odds to ensure it doesn't repeat itself in the future.
Okay, to not repeat itself in the future. But for the Super Sun Eagles, well, they can hold their heads up high, because they did well at the end of the day, 6-5 against them. Both teams ending on 10-10 goal apiece, but courtesy of their away goal rule. But Michael, if you look at, let's look at some continents. Let's borrow a leaf from UEFA. This away goal rule in their football competition has actually been cancelled. I don't know why we're still operating the away goal rule here in Africa.
I mean, I don't know. Perhaps that's the reason why Africans are always behind. I mean, it has gone into extinction. That away goals rule, almost 2 years now. So I don't know why we in Africa we always believe so much in that old time religion, old time tradition of going by the old ways. I mean, we should. I mean, have a rethink. I think this should be the reason why a bill should be sponsored by, I mean, the African continent or the African football governing body, that there is need to imbibe the away goals rule. I think that should be the next topic for a discussion. I mean, whenever they gather are caused to meet and reconvene, that should be the number one thing. Scrap out the away goals rule. It no longer holds weight in world football, in European football. Why can't we borrow a leaf? I think that should be and they should ensure that that is applied going forward.
Yes, they should ensure that that is applied going forward. All right, let's come back home and talk MPFL. Still talking about referees officiating, but this time around, the MPFL referees are taking it a step further. Now they have organized referees to begin preseason programs where they will actually be going through rigorous classroom training, tests, exam, and what have you. The update themselves that at least to be up to standard with the latest rules when it comes to officiating the round leather game.
I mean, it's a right step in the right direction. The reason why Nigerian referees have not been called upon to handle, I mean, big intercontinental tournaments is because we lack proper orientation. I mean, we are not properly tutored, nurtured, and cultured when it comes to officiating games. We are always a scapegoat when it comes to suspect officiating. Money always exchange hands. Our officials are truly not ethical in their officiating. So I think this is the right step in the right direction. They need to know the rules and the regulations. They need to know it so as to avert the situation going forward. We've been had situations where our referees get omission time and time again, especially at the African continent. We don't get picked. I mean, all these Mauritius, Seychelles, Morocco, and all these countries get consideration, but we don't. I think it's the right step in the right direction.
Okay, it's the right step in the right direction. The preseason will offer the referees a chance to update themselves with the latest officiating rules and how to handle a game where they will not be found wanting. And I think it's a good initiative coming in from the Nigerian Referees Association, and also the MPFL body led by Honorable Benga Legbeleye and Davidson Owumi for putting this preseason together, at least so that we can have sound referees officiating in our league. We want to see a better 2024-2025 season in the Nigerian Premier Football League, where our referees will now be the cynosure of officiating in the world. Who says we cannot have a Nigerian referee to officiate FIFA organized final, maybe FIFA World Cup final? We can get there. When you just, they say Rome was not built in a day. You just have to start somewhere, and that is why we're starting somewhere with this particular training, with these particular programs being organized for our MPFL referees. All right, let's go to the main talk of the program. This time around, we'll be looking at Team Nigerian performance so far in Paris 2024 Olympic Games. Like you know, the football event started for the men, but we don't have our under 23 men's team there, but we have the Super Falcons, who have played 2 games so far, and they've lost those 2 games. We've seen our table tennis player, Aruna Kadri, Olajide, that is Matthew. We have Fyongedem. All of them have been beaten, crashed out of the competition. The D-Tigers, as we speak, will be playing their their Group B opener in the women's basketball event, and we still have other event lined up. Ogunse Milore, the only Nigerian boxer still left for medal hopeful, is under a doping investigation. And then the track is yet to start, which will start a few days away from now, where we'll be seeing Toby Amuson, as a Brume, Favor Philly, and co. But for all of the team performance so far, for those who have tasted action in Paris, it has not really been something we expected, Michael.
Yeah, definitely. Our hopes have been on the track. Our hopes has been on the likes of Toby Amusan. Our hopes has been that when we get to the track and field, perhaps we may start seeing medals. Earlier on, I saw the table you flashed on the screen. We saw Japan at the apex. I can tell you that they are contenders and they are pretenders. That position will change once we get to 1st of August, when the United States of America begin to sweep medals in the track. I want to assure you that that medal table will definitely change face. But for our athletes, I think we need to perhaps have a good psychologist in that Nigerian contingent. I chatted with my younger brother. He's the coach of the badminton team. I told him, I said, hey, psych your players, psych Opeyomi and Aono Lapo. Psych him very well. This is the Olympics. I mean, our teams are not doing well. Psych your badminton guy. We want him to attain global status. He's an African champion. We want him to be a world champion. That's what I expect the coaches of the rest of the games that have not started to be doing to their athletes. Tell them that the Nigerian hope lies on your shoulders now. Now that table tennis has disappointed, football is disappointing. We pray that basketball will give us some huge respite. But I expect the coaches to do their jobs to ensure that these athletes come with so much confidence and so much motivation so that their story will be different.
Okay, so that their story will be different. Now, Michael, let's look at this side by side. Outside track, which other area do you think we have hope for medals? We have wrestling, we have weight, there's powerlifting, that weightlifting there. Boxing, it's over for us as we speak. And then the D-Tigress will start their own campaign today. And we still have Opeyomi in badminton, you mentioned. So outside the track, where can we also say, okay, this time around, we can at least rely in this sport that we can get a medal?
First and foremost, it's not as if we have so much hopes on the track. Let's not forget that our major hope in the track is actually Toby and Musa. And so for the individuals, at best, I expect Favor of Philly to get maybe to the finals and maybe have a 6th placing. To me, that's very good for our career. And then maybe for the 4x4, we have 244 runners. Yes. So outside of that, let's be honest, we really don't have so much hopes on the tracks. When you have a Noah Lyons or Fred Curleys or Michael Normans or Quincy Jones, I mean, we should be honest with ourselves. Our hopes are just perhaps 2 or 3, the 4x4, and then maybe the 100-meter hurdles, and then maybe a finals placing for one of our athletes, because the Kain Solas, they are running good times, but I'm not sure, except they prove us wrong, if we'll get them running below 9.90. So let's get the record straight. And then outside that, history-wise, I think in terms of wrestling, we've dominated the African continent. Boxing has been unfortunate. Of course, you know that table tennis, the best we've had was Quadri reaching the quarterfinals, I think in Rio or so. We really don't have so much hope outside that. Maybe powerlifting and wrestling are the only places we have a slender hope. But outside of that, I don't think we are contenders. Really, to be honest, we have a long way to go in building our sporting fraternity. I know we appear in 12 sports, but let's be honest, our sport has not gotten to that level yet. We have so many medal hopefuls.
Okay, has not gotten to that level yet, but let's see what happens when the tracks begin. Michael, I bet you are in for a shocker of your life when that tracks. Favor of Philly will definitely get a medal, not a 6th place finish. Let's quickly just run over 2 transfers before we go on the show. Napoli drops Victor Osimhen for preseason. This guy has been on the news. Probably he must just be finding his way out of the Diego Armando Maradona Stadium in Italy. All right, the next one is a PSG reach agreement with Manchester United forward Jadon Sancho. And the last one, if my director permits me, Genoa keen on goalkeeper David De Gea. Those are the transfer stories for Victor Osimhen. Please, my brother, leave Napoli now that the ovation is loud. All right, Michael, that is where we'll leave it on the program 360 Sports this morning. It's good having you on the show.
Thank you very much. Best of luck to our athletes. Surprise us with goodies, with victories.
All right, surprise us with goodies and victories. We will come in with the medal. All right, that is it on the program. I am Emmanuel Fashimi. Say thanks for watching.